It's time to remember who you are and why you're here. Welcome to Soul Truth, where you learn that you are more than just a body. You are a luminous being with purpose and power. I'm Nancy May, energy practitioner and soul guide, here to help you explore the deeper layers of healing with practical tools, soul-led meditations, and heart-opening conversations designed to expand your awareness. If you're ready to live your truth and align with your soul, this podcast is for you. Welcome back, beautiful souls. Let's take a moment to arrive. So take a slow, deep inhale with me and a gentle exhale. And once again, a slow, deep inhale and a gentle exhale. Today's episode is the final conversation in the three-part series we've been exploring together. In episode 7, we stepped into the bird's eye view, rising above fear and reconnecting with guidance from your higher self. In episode 8, we talked about the courage to begin again, that moment when clarity turns into action and a new chapter unfolds. And today, we move into the part that's often the most meaningful and sometimes the most misunderstood. Today, we're talking about embodiment. To me, embodiment is key. Because spiritual clarity is powerful, a soul-led new beginning is powerful, yet the true transformation usually doesn't happen in the moment of insight. It unfolds in the days, weeks, months, and sometimes years that follow. It happens in the quiet space where your life begins reorganizing itself around a new truth. It happens when a moment of decision slowly becomes a way of living. So today's conversation is about how to stay aligned during a life transition. How to actually stabilize a soul-led change so it becomes part of who you truly are. Your life evolves through the quiet repetition of meaningful moments and aligned decisions. There's a phase of transformation that most people don't talk about very often. It's what typically comes after clarity. You may experience a moment when something becomes unmistakably true. Maybe you realize a relationship needs to change. Maybe you feel a deep calling towards a new direction. Maybe you make a decision that finally aligns with your soul. And in that moment, there can be relief, expansion, a sense of freedom. And then, a few days, or even a few moments later, something else begins to happen. Doubt shows up, old habits start resurfacing. Your mind might start asking questions again. You may feel emotionally sensitive. You might find yourself wondering if you made the right decision. You may desire to seek reassurance from others, or even a pull to return to once was familiar. Those sorts of things can happen. And if you've felt that in your own life recently, you're not imagining it. Many people interpret this moment as a sign to reconsider the path. Yet the truth is something much more compassionate. This phase is integration. Your nervous system is learning how to live inside a new reality. And here's something I invite you to remember that I feel is very important. The nervous system naturally gravitates towards the familiar. And with time, the aligned path becomes familiar. Even when the familiar isn't ideal, it has one quality your body recognizes: predictability. And when your life shifts in a meaningful way, your system begins recalibrating. And that recalibration can feel like uncertainty. It can feel tender, like standing in an open space. And open space asks something very beautiful from us. It asks us to trust. When people talk about change, the conversation usually focuses on behavior. We talk about the habits, the actions, the decisions, and those things definitely matter. Yet the deeper shift that stabilizes transformation happens at the level of identity. In other words, it's a shift in your sense of self. In the last episode, we talked about choosing differently. In this episode, we're exploring what it means to become someone who lives from that choice. The reason we're doing this is because lasting change rarely comes from a single decision. It grows from a gradual shift in the way you see yourself. Behavior naturally begins to follow identity. When your sense of self changes, new actions feel more natural. When identity hasn't shifted yet, actions can feel like effort. This is why lasting transformation usually grows gradually. Embodiment moves at a different pace. It tends to be quiet. It tends to be patient. Embodiment is the difference between understanding a truth mentally and living that truth. Your mind understands, and this is where most people stop. They think they know because their mind gets it. However, the real key is when your body understands, and this takes time. Time for your nervous system to begin recognizing the new pattern as safe. And over time, what once felt new simply becomes the way you live. That's where real transformation takes root. When most people step into growth, something very natural can occur. Protective parts of your psyche get activated. You might call this the ego, the personality, or even something like the performing or protective personality. These parts aren't enemies, they're forms of intelligence. At some point in your life, these parts learned how to keep you safe. Perhaps they learned to avoid risk or seek approval. Maybe they learned to stay small to avoid criticism. When your life begins expanding, those parts may start getting your attention. You might find yourself overthinking. You might feel tension in your body. You might feel the urge to delay decisions. Or you might want to look outside yourself for reassurance from others. At the heart of all this is often a simple question: are we okay? That question may come from a younger part of you, perhaps your inner child or inner teen, or even another aspect of the younger you, a part that once felt uncertain or unsupported. When that question arises, many people try to silence it. They try and push themselves forward, forcing things to happen. They push away the feeling. They try and force confidence. Yet, there's another way to respond. You can meet that protective part of you with compassion. Perhaps you place your hand on your body where you feel tension. And then gently acknowledge what's present. You might say things like, "Thank you for caring for me. We're okay now. I'm here with you." Or you might simply breathe into that space with compassion. And when we respond this way, something remarkable often happens. The body softens, the nervous system relaxes, the protective part realizes it isn't alone anymore, and stability begins to return. This has been a practice in my life for many years, and I found it very helpful. There have been numerous moments in my life when I could feel very clearly that there was something I was meant to do. I could sense the direction. I'd begin walking down the path, and then doubt would show up, or distraction, or fear. And for many years, I interpreted those feelings as signs that something was wrong. And I wondered if maybe I wasn't meant to do that thing after all. And over time, that understanding changed. These days, when fear shows up, and it still does, I smile and thank it. And sometimes I literally just start laughing because I've learned something important. When those feelings appear, it often means something meaningful is unfolding, something new is taking shape. The natural world has helped me understand this. If you look at trees in early spring, you can see the new green growth at the tips of the branches. That new growth is vibrant and alive. And it also benefits from true care, the sunlight, water, time. Even research with plants shows that when they receive patience, care, and loving attention, they grow and thrive. In many ways, we're the same. When something new begins growing in our lives, a new path, a new identity, a new way of living, that growth appreciates attention and nourishment. And over the years, I've discovered practices that help me stay aligned during these moments. For me, moving my body is key. I love to hike and be out in nature taking walks. I love to do yoga, yin yoga, hatha, any type of yoga. I like to sit outside in nature, quietly observing. I love meditation. I listen to uplifting podcasts. I might read a passage from a spiritual book. These are all small moments that gently bring my attention back to what I know. The deeper shift for me has been recognizing something very important. Everything I need is already inside of me. When I bring awareness to what's happening within, rather than turning away from it, that new growth has space to continue unfolding. And this is why stabilizing a new chapter benefits from gentleness. New growth appreciates care and presence. It responds beautifully to attention, patience, and nourishment. Alignment grows much like plants grow, with steady care, consistent light, and with time. Let's go ahead and pause together for a moment. I invite you to slowly take a breath, inhaling through your nose and slowly exhaling. And again, another beautiful, slow inhale through your nose and a gentle exhale. And perhaps you place your hands on your heart or on your belly. And close your eyes if it feels comfortable. And sense into your body. Notice that you're here. Say a beautiful hello to your body, perhaps even thanking it for all it does for you. And then imagine a line of grounding energy connecting your body to the center of the earth. You might see this as roots from the bottom of your feet descending into the earth below. You might see it as a beam of light or even a tree from your first chakra at the base of your spine, flowing into the center of the earth. Whatever image or sensation your body responds to is perfect. Notice your connection with the earth and allow your breath to settle. Now bring awareness gently to the center of your brain. And imagine a soft thread of your unique signature vibration, what I like to call your unique essence energy, reconnecting here. This is that part of you that's completely unique to you. No one else on the planet has the same essence. Perhaps you see it as a color or a series of colors. You might hear it as a tone. You might feel it in your body or something else altogether. And if you have to, make it up for now. Once you've connected in with your unique essence energy, ask yourself a simple question. What is one aligned step I can take today? Just one, because your life changes through steady alignment. Your life changes through the quiet repetition of aligned decisions. So, what is the one aligned step you can take today? Then take another breath. And when you're ready, continue listening. Before we close today's episode, I'd like to leave you with a few gentle questions you might reflect on later. Perhaps while walking, or sitting quietly, or writing in a journal. Where in your life is something new beginning to grow? What would it look like to nurture that growth with patience and care? What small aligned step feels available today? And finally, what does your deeper knowing already understand about this moment? So take a beautiful breath here and trust that your inner guidance is present, and allow the next step to reveal itself in its own time. Let's take a moment here to bring this three-part series together. In episode 7, we rose above fear. In episode 8, we chose again. And in episode 9, we begin living from that choice. Your life rarely transforms in one dramatic moment. Your life transforms through the quiet repetition of aligned decisions. You're allowed to evolve gradually. You're allowed to grow in a way that feels grounded and human. You're allowed to become one step at a time. I invite you to take gentle care of your energy today. Stay close to what feels true. And remember, aligned growth comes through small, steady steps. And the wisdom guiding those steps has been within you all along. If this episode resonates, I invite you to share it with someone navigating a life transition or spiritual awakening. And as always, thank you for being here, for listening, for growing, and for remembering who you truly are. Until next time, sending lots of love. Thanks for joining me on Soul Truth with Nancy May. If today's episode inspired you, please follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share this with someone who is ready to remember who they are and why they're here. To keep exploring and receiving more soul-nourishing content, visit me at nancymay.com. Until next time, keep listening to your heart and living your truth. Your soul knows the way.